now ready for the second contestant. Our second contestant is Lisa Marie Gelhaus. Lisa Marie Gelhaus, then something happened. Then something happened, Lisa Marie Gelhaus.
If there is one thing that my mother drilled into my head when I was a teenager, it was, be prepared. And she often quoted Ben Franklin, even though I found out later he didn't really say this. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, I did not want to fail, so plan I did. After high school, I imagined a brilliant academic career. And I know it's a little old-fashioned, but I also planned to find my dream man. And sure enough, 2 weeks into my university career, I found him, Patrick. Well, he was kind of like my dream man. Instead of being tall, dark, and handsome, he was short, pale, and adorable. I fell madly in love with him. So you see, my plan was taking shape around a real human being. But then something happened. Unexpectedly, Patrick disappeared. No phone calls, no emails, no nothing. My 19-year-old self was devastated. What had I done? What would be of my plan? Now I needed a new plan. Fast forward a few years, I'm now a young marketing manager, and I'm on a plane on the way back to Italy after a job. And 2 seats over from me in the plane is seated a Latin lover. Now, I'm looking for my ideal mate. That's my new plan. And Italians on airplanes, not ideal mates. So I buried myself in my book. But he kept talking to me. He told me his whole life story. And then, my name is Alessandro. Listen, you're going to Italy. Maybe you can speak a little bit of Italian. Come on, why don't you speak a little bit of Italian? I promise I won't laugh. I looked him straight in the eye and I said, senti, io faccio comunicazioni per vivere. Se non sapessi parlare italiano, morirei di fame. Basically, I said, buzz off. Two full minutes later, he slid back to his chair like a dog with a tail between his legs, and I went back to my book. But then something happened. My parents have made homemade tortellini. Would you like to come over for dinner tonight? Can you resist homemade tortellini? To make a long story short, I married the guy, and boom, another plan out the window. After these and many other plans that went exactly the opposite of what I was expecting, I began to wonder, why is it that I keep making plans? And why is it that when they don't go the way I want, I get so upset? Now, this is the part of the story where a wise old grandmother, or maybe a Zen master, comes and tells a really funny story about how I spent half of my life trying to stick people into my plans. But I didn't have a mentor like that. So I read a lot. And I discovered some things that might help you too when your plans go differently than you expect. First, let me say this. It's okay to freak out a little bit. You see, our brains love order. And so we make plans because it gives us a feeling of control. And when those plans don't go the way we expect, we feel disoriented. That's normal. The problem is that a lot of times our plans collide with the plans of other people. Yeah, they have plans. And when that happens, we discover that we can't change them. We're going to have to adapt ourselves. So that's what I did. I learned how to be adaptable, to take life as it comes, to welcome, enjoy change. And I began to realize that it helped a lot to look back at the times when, at the times when change brought about things that I didn't expect at all when I was planning. So does anybody want to know what happened to the men I loved? Patrick and I reconnected after we graduated. And as adults, he could explain to me that he had come out of the closet. I didn't see that coming. But to this day, Patrick is my oldest and my dearest friend. Alessandro, that marriage lasted 15 years. And we never learned how to make our own tortellini. You see, your plans will change. And what I want to say to you is that when something happens, don't worry. Because as the song says, if things change, everything works out in the end. Everything works out in the end. Contest chair.